Hello friends, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Mark. Thank you for stopping by. I'm going to get right into this discussion because I want you to know why no one's buying your cheap artwork, or why cheap people are buying your cheap artwork. And I will explain everything. Don't. I hope you're not getting hung up on the title, because I will explain it. It is an important discussion, and it's something I haven't seen a lot of people talk about. But what you're seeing right now is a painting that I'm, doing on a piece of paper in a sketchbook that cost me $2.95. It's a cheap sketchbook, and I'm using a set of paints that I bought mid 80s, I think, maybe late 80s, 1980s, and it cost me about $1.95. It's a Crayola watercolor set meant for children. But back then, this is the way I used to work, and even though the drawing may be kind of fun, the quality of the equipment that I'm using is cheap. And that is the focus of this discussion, and why I decided to make this video, because I see a lot of people out there, kind of promoting a cheap art haul or the cheap stuff that I use. You can see as I'm painting this that the color isn't binding at all to the to this paper. This is watercolor paper here, and a couple of colors do, but the first three colors don't bind at all. And, I'll do a little wet and wet just to soak the paper and get these colors in here. And while they're intense, this is an intense red color here. You put these in the sun and these are going to fade, in a matter of hours, if not a day, because they're not meant for long exposure to light. Their light fastness is almost nothing. There's no granulation because the pigmentation in these colors is just, it's meant for kids. It's non-toxic, so it's meant for kids. What do you do? How do you go about saving money, not spending a fortune, and producing quality artwork? Well, for me, I came across this opportunity online to buy Schmincke paints. I've been putting off buying Schmincke paints because typically they're very expensive. But these are the Horadem aquarels. It was a 12-pan set, and I bought 7 extra colors. And I have been dying to use Schmincke paints for years, but I've always put it off because I thought they're too expensive. I have all these other sets, which I love. This is my Sakura Koi field kit, which is all plastic, and it comes with a water brush, 24 colors. And I love this when I go on vacation. Here in my studio, I have this Chesterfield cigarette tin that I got for $5 on eBay, and I filled it with watercolor confections paints that Prima Marketing sells on Amazon. They're like $20 each. So I have all these colors, 36 colors. My M. Graham set was probably the most expensive of invested in. And this is the Schmincke paints, which, yeah, they were a little pricey, but you know what? The opportunity was there online, and I jumped at it because I wanted to invest in something that I know I'm going to love. But I also wanted to invest in my own artwork, and that's what this is about. If I'm just looking at this thing, it comes with all these little goodies inside, little notes, and the packaging alone, this tin is beautiful. It has plenty of space and plenty of wells to mix in, and the packaging is just really spectacular, and I'll get into that in a minute too. I've built enough of these watercolor sets that I know how to assemble them, and I'm not going to go through that. There's plenty of tutorials out there, but you can watch along as I speak. So yeah, I want to invest in my artwork, because if I'm using cheap art supplies, like cheap paper, cheap brushes, cheap paints, then my attitude towards my artwork is always going to be cheap. And people who see it they're going to absorb the energy of my cheapness. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. And they're going to look at me and my artwork as being cheap. And when they offer to buy it, they're going to offer little or no money, or they're just not going to buy it at all. So that's why no one is buying your cheap artwork if you're using cheap supplies, or cheap people are buying your cheap artwork, offering you very, very little money for something that you worked very, very hard on. And I just don't see the value in that. If you're going to take the time to do something, unless it's practice, then it's worthwhile to invest in something that's going to make you feel like you're investing in something. It's going to make you feel like your art is worth something. Let's take a quick coffee break. So the Crayola paints that I was showing you are non-toxic, meant for kids. This is amazing. These little labels here show the pigment information, even has the phone number of the company on it, and they even have these little warnings that tell you that this particular one has methyl in it, which is toxic and may cause a reaction. So the packaging on these Schmincke paints is fantastic because they're even giving you a heads up like, hey, these are really high quality paints. The pigments are really high quality and they're actually toxic. So be careful and don't eat the watercolors. Don't rub them all over your arms. Back to the conversation. You know, if you're a musician and you go out and you buy a cheap guitar at a yard sale or used or whatever, and you pay like $20, $25 for it, if you're a good musician, you're going to be able to play music on it. That's not the issue. You can play music on it, but it's going to be a little warped. The strings and the action are too high, and it's not going to feel good in your hands. And your attitude playing it is going to be almost like a slight struggle. Now, if you go and you pick up a C.F. Martin guitar, a pure mahogany C.F. Martin guitar for $1,500, you're going to play that guitar and you're going to respect the equipment. You're going to feel it in your spirit. It's going to just come out of you like, I'm playing something really special here. And if you get up on a stage with a $25 cheap guitar, you don't know what's going to happen and you're not going to feel confident with that thing. When you get up there with a C.F. Martin guitar, you're going to make that thing sing and your audience will buy it, you'll buy it, and everybody's going to appreciate it a little bit more because it's quality. You've spent the time and the money to invest in something quality. And that's how I feel about art supplies. If you're going to do this and you expect somebody to buy it, whether it's an ad agency, a magazine, or anybody, even somebody buying it off the wall at a coffee shop, if you want to price that work at a real price, not $5 because it's hanging on a wall in a coffee shop, and you want to be taken seriously, then you have to take your investment seriously. You have to invest in quality products and quality art supplies to produce quality work and then have even quality clients and quality people buying it. I spent years selling things for way under their value because I didn't know. And I wish somebody had told me early on. But here I am, older now, more wise, I think. And my artwork is now valued at what I think it's worth because I made the investment and I'm making the investment in my artwork. And I hope you do too. I hope this made sense and I really appreciate your time coming by. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll subscribe for more content. Keep creating and always up your game when it comes to your art. God bless.
I am just